Am I the a-hole for not babysitting other kids even though I am a nanny? Original post. I, 56 female, have been a nanny to a couple. We'll call them Jenna, 29 female, and Mitchell, 32 male, for a few years now. They have been great people, and I also like the pay since they're fairly wealthy. They give me a big sum, and I also love their kids. They have a 4-year-old boy and a 5-year-old girl who are really sweet, and I look forward to seeing them. On to the problem, Jenna and Mitchell decided to host a party at a restaurant they live close to. No problem for me. I'll watch their kids like usual while they have their fun. They were giving me the rundown of things like usual, but then something odd they said was, and make sure the kids are ready to be picked up by 9:30 p.m. I thought this was strange, but decided to push it to the back of my mind, as they had never said anything previously about other kids and only mentioned that one statement. Maybe it was just a slip-up. About 20 minutes go by and Mitchell's and Jenna's friends come over to pick them up, I'm assuming. So I go over to meet their friends, and their friends brought all their kids for me to babysit. There were at least 7 kids I saw. I pulled Jenna aside and asked her why their friends expected me to babysit their kids, and told her to just get someone else to babysit them, as I only agreed to babysit her kids. She seemed taken aback and said she thought I wouldn't mind, since I don't do anything else with my time anyway. My husband died 11 years ago, so I'm always by myself at home now. That was true, but this was never part of the agreement. Apparently, all her friends were busy and couldn't come to the party because of their kids, and to save money and time. Jenna just offered to dump all their kids at her place for me to watch. I got angry and said, unless she was willing to pay me 7 times the amount of money she pays me now, there's no way I'd watch 9 kids for the amount of time they were gone, 8 hours, and I just wouldn't be able to handle it. Her face changed from confused to frustrated, and she said I should be lucky I'm their nanny at all with the amount of money I'm paid, and that I should be grateful and do this one thing since it was just one night. She just wanted to treat her friends to a nice dinner. I was shocked, didn't say anything else, and just left their house. Mitchell later called me, cussing me out and saying how I humiliated and embarrassed them with my actions, and how they had to cancel everything last minute because of everyone's kids. He said I was a selfish, stuck-up, lazy bee for not doing this one-time thing. I didn't say anything the whole way through until he was done talking, then just hung up. Now I'm really wondering if I messed up here. I really like their kids, and they were great people before this incident. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments before reading the update. Not the a-hole. It's just business. You're following the established contract. If they didn't want to be embarrassed, they should have contacted you prior to renegotiate. And by the sounds of it, they don't pay you enough to turn a blind eye this once in order to retain the job. Failure to plan on your part does not constitute an emergency on mine. This was no failure of planning. They deliberately lied by omission to try to blindside her into accepting 4.5 times as much work without extra pay. Not the a-hole. Those were not the terms you agreed to, and they know it. Yes, and they didn't say anything about hosting a party until that day, so they already set up everything prior to talking to me about babysitting their kids. My guess is they wanted to already be too far into it and didn't tell me about anything, so it would be too late for me to back out. Unfortunately for them, I have 2 legs and can walk myself out of their lives. They see you as an appliance, not a person. The child watching machine is acting like it has rights. I didn't even think of it like that. Good point. Wealthy people do have a history of taking advantage of others. Not the a-hole. You thought they were great people until they showed their true colors here. Completely insane to try and dump 9 kids on one person for 8 hours without even talking about it beforehand. Yeah, I know. Still having a hard time getting over someone I was a nanny to for years, but there's always other great people who aren't entitled and that I can babysit for. Now for the update. I didn't expect to be posting an update so soon, as I thought they would both ghost me and we wouldn't talk again and they would find another nanny. I was wrong. Jenna called me this afternoon. Hoping for an apology, I picked up. She tried to guilt-trip me into babysitting for her kids again, saying how there isn't another one like me, and she didn't want a younger nanny because she didn't want the kids latching onto her and calling her mom. And if anything, wanted them to think of them as a grandma. What the heck? She then went on to say she was sorry and she was wrong for doing what she did and wanted me to come and be their nanny again. I let her finish with her rant. After she was done talking, I said I was sorry she was that insecure about babysitters her age, and if she was that worried, she should take her head out of her butt and focus on her kids rather than her business. And even though she doesn't respect my time and effort, I do. Told her good luck finding another sitter and blocked her and Mitchell. I'm still having a hard time finding a replacement, but at least I'm free from the entitlement they showed. I most likely would not have said all that and put my foot down if it wasn't for all the comments you guys gave, so thank you. Really downplayed my self-worth as a nanny because I'm a caregiver for years, so the boost really helped. If Jenna and Mitchell can treat their friends to a party, they could certainly pay OP the fair wage to babysit a gang of children and make the request in advance rather than act like entitled jackasses about it. Another example of rich people who are cheap and banking on taking advantage of nice people who they think they can pressure into doing them extraordinary favors. With that number of children, she would probably have wanted to get an assistant into for safety. These people placed no value on her skills or her time or on their children's safety. People that don't have to take care of children, let alone their own children, definitely don't understand how quickly things can go wrong, especially with that many children and only one adult to supervise. Then when something did happen, they would blame her. The child watching machine is acting like it has rights is an amazing description of their entitlement. I love OP's backbone. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to be a cheap babysitter for my dad's girlfriend? My dad's got this girlfriend, Laura, and she has 3 kids, 10, 7, and 5. She has sole custody of her kids, and their dads are not in their lives. My dad and Laura now live together, and I, 18 male, babysat once or twice before. But babysitting was and is $25 a night, and the hours were 7 p.m. to 10 a.m. I didn't appreciate being paid so little, and it came with entertaining the kids, which I wasn't cool with. My dad and Laura expected me to keep babysitting once a month like that. Laura was pissed when I told her I wasn't babysitting anymore. They said getting family to babysit should make it cheaper. Laura said her kids and I will be siblings when she and my dad get married, so I should take the chance to spend time with them and bond with them. I told her we'd only be step-siblings, and we don't have to be close. I said I have to be polite and not a jerk, but nowhere is there a law that says I need to act like I'm their big brother. My dad and I aren't that close anyway, and my mom was my primary parent growing up. Now I stay at my mom's house, so it's not like I'm eager to do it for him, just so he can have his date nights with his girlfriend. Doing him a favor isn't at the top of my priority list either. It's been about a year since I last babysat, and they want a night out before Christmas, but don't want to pay a regular sitter who'd charge Laura way more. They told me I should get over myself already and babysit again, because it's important for their relationship. I asked them why I should care what's important to their relationship, and Laura said it's because we're family, and I should want them to go the distance. I told her I didn't care either way. She asked what my problem was, and I told her it's a lot to ask. I said she only pays $25, but I also have to entertain her kids and stay with them for hours, and I'm the one who has to make sure they get to bed. I said it's not the same as babysitting when the kids are in bed and I can do my own thing. She said it's quality time with my new siblings. I rolled my eyes, and my dad said I might not like it, but we are siblings now and I should act like it. Laura told me I'm meant to be her bonus son and I should be happy to help her out. I stood by my answer, and they're really trying their best to convince me I'm being crappy. So I figured, why not ask here? Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. She's treating you like a bonus servant rather than a bonus son. 99% of problems I see with blended families happens when relationships are forced. No one can force you to see Laura and her kids as family. They may be your dad's family, but that doesn't automatically make them yours. Exactly. They're acting like he owes them free childcare just because his dad's dating her. That's not family bonding. That's straight up taking advantage. So, on the sub, forced relationships in blended families is the #1 complaint, more than cheating and wedding invites. Her crotch monsters, her problem, not yours. All her comments, and your dad's, are ignoring the fact that they want something for basically nothing. Ripping off your own son is how you lose him. Don't be a douchey parent and pay your kids a fair wage. As for $25, with inflation the way it has been since Obama, and with them wanting 15 hours, they would have to pay you something like $500 to equal what I got paid when I was your age. If you're nice, you can cut them some slack when everyone is asleep. So like $300. They need to understand that 3 kids is like $25 to $50 an hour. Or they do understand and are trying to trick you into doing it for nothing. Insulting, rude, unethical, not the a-hole. They want me to do it for basically nothing, aka cheap as heck. They think that's the bonus of family doing it. But I'm not her or her kids' family, and they're not mine. Next story. Would I be the a-hole if I told my coworker I couldn't give her or her daughter rides anymore? I, 21 female, have this one coworker, 35 female, who basically relies on me to get to work. She also has a daughter, 16, who she wants me to pick up from work, and she works at a different job than we do. My coworker goes on and on about how she doesn't like feeling used because of her kindness, but I feel like she's doing the same thing to me. In the past several months, I've never received a dime from her. I've asked why she doesn't take public transportation to work, and she said she doesn't like taking the bus. She'll take the bus after work, but not before work, which confuses me. Sometimes she'll stay at work later if I'm working, and then ask for a ride home because the buses don't run past a certain time. They're about to change my schedule so that I wouldn't come in until over an hour after she does, and I don't want to sit in the parking lot for over an hour waiting for my shift. She texted me on my 21st birthday asking if I could pick up her daughter from work. She knew it was my 21st, as we had been counting down the days until I could sell alcohol at my job. And I told her, I can't. You know it's my 21st birthday. I'm at dinner with my family, and then we are going bar hopping. She kind of got upset about me not being able to do it. She told me the following Monday after my birthday that her daughter was complaining that I was MIA. I told her, I don't think I've been MIA as I'm not in a combat zone, but I've got a life outside of work and playing Uber for people. I'm in my 20s. I'm single, and my parents told me I need to live my life to the fullest so I don't look back and have regrets. Would I be the a-hole if I stopped giving them rides? Edit. I've been applying to work elsewhere that will give me more hours, and I got a message that a company I applied to wants to interview me tomorrow. So it sucks for her, but she's definitely losing the ride if I get this new job. I mean, she's already lost the ride, but let's see how she reacts to me leaving the job. Not the a-hole. Tell her you're no longer available to transport her or her daughter, as your shift and hours are changing. Tell her now and be firm. Her child is not your responsibility, nor is it your responsibility to get her to work on time. And do not let her guilt you or talk you into it. She will say, well, you could use that time for X. Or, boo-hoo, how are we supposed to get to work? I just don't know. My daughter may lose my or her job. I thought you were my friend. I thought we could depend on you. She may be cold to you after, but so what? Not the a-hole. Just do a flat-out no lifts going forward, as that's all you can do with people like this. They've played FAFO. I used to give someone lifts to a gym as we went at the same time, but one day I was going elsewhere after and said I couldn't give them a lift back. They threw a wobbler. I never gave them a lift again. I just said I can't guarantee what time I'm going or where I'm going after, and I'm not prepared to alter my life or schedule to give you a lift. I don't want you to rely on me, so it's best you sort out your own transport going forward. Last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my brother-in-law his kids aren't my problem? My 50-year-old male, wife's younger brother, 28-year-old male, is a high school dropout. He had a daughter at 16 and dropped out to work and provide for her because his now in-laws were super religious and disowned their daughter, kicking her out and refusing to help her because she got pregnant. He ended up marrying her at 18, and they now have 4 kids together. Neither of them continued their education. He's a construction worker now, and she's a stay-at-home mom. My wife and I are both doctors. All her siblings are successful. We have 4 kids of our own, and we barely get any time off to spend with them. Back in August, we both took 2 weeks off to go on a family holiday to Europe. He came and asked my wife if we could take all 4 of his kids with us because we can easily afford it. She told him she wasn't doing it because it was supposed to be family time and taking care of 8 kids would be impossible. He got desperate and started begging us. I told him straight up that he and his kids aren't our responsibility. He said fine and asked if we could instead pay for a vacation for them. That angered me, and I told him we're not a bank account for him and his family. He said it's not fair that his kids watch their cousins do and experience all these things while they don't. I said life's not fair and that they have to learn that. My in-laws are both gone now, and my other siblings-in-law all live hours away across the states. We're the only ones he's close to since we still live in their childhood hometown. He called us stuck-up rich a-holes. I told him it's not my fault he got someone pregnant at 16 and ruined his life, and that it's not my problem my in-laws refused to help him back then. And it's still not my problem that he can't afford nice things for his kids, the ones they chose to have later on, knowing their financial situation. Right now, he's acting very hurt, and he complained about us to his other siblings, but none of them offered to help either. My wife now feels bad and says he feels awful watching his kids see ours and their other cousins having nice lives while they don't, and that they're probably very hurt. I told her if she wants to help, I won't stop her, but I'm not giving him anything. Am I the a-hole? We all grow up watching friends, neighbors, and family members doing things we don't get to. It's part of life. So he is definitely an a-hole thinking that you will just give him money. But from the start of reading this post and how judgmental you are about him and his education and ruining his life, you are definitely an a-hole too, but for different reasons. My sentiments exactly. Brother-in-law needs to understand that we are the sum total of the choices and decisions we make, and no one is out there to be a safety net for you. Put your big boy pants on and suck it up. On the other hand, just as he's not entitled to your help, you're not entitled to be a judgmental douchebag, telling him he's ruined his life. Jesus. My dad told me, if you never have to depend on anyone else in your life, you'll never be disappointed. It has served me well. Your brother-in-law has a lot of gall to ask his sister and you to fund his kid's vacation. But the way you wrote this, I wouldn't be surprised if you speak down to others, especially your brother-in-law. You could have been more tactful in your response. I get your brother-in-law and his wife got pregnant at 16, but I applaud your brother-in-law for raising his children and not abandoning them like a lot of people do. I'm sorry, but you applaud the brother-in-law for not abandoning his family? Wow, the bar for men is in hell at this point. Also, having a second and then a third and fourth child when you likely struggled to afford the first is a form of abandonment. He and his wife need to learn some hard truths.